Guys, please watch this to the end because I found something crazy on the Bitcoin chart which might give us the next direction over the next week. This might even happen this week. So I posted here on the 14th of October. We are now at a maybe 60% chance where we were last cycle. So as you guys know, I've been talking about this for a while. I think we are literally just repeating last cycle. I posted this back in January saying that we're probably going to come down to this support. We're going to get rejected here as we did in the first cycle. Sorry, the previous cycle. We're going to get rejected, come down to support, push up. This is going to be the all-time high, and then we're going to come down into a bear market. And so far, that's exactly what's happened, right? This is where I made the call. I said we're going to repeat the last cycle, come down here, push up, retest, and then I said we're going to break this trend line and come to the bottom. Why? Well, I mean, look at how crazy this is, right? We had a classic M pattern, pushed up, come down to the top, and then we came into a bear market. And we could just clone this, right? We could just clone this, drag it over here. We pretty much have the exact same setup, guys, right? And we got rejected twice. The SMC bot flagged 2 yellow signals here at the top. You see the 2 yellow signals here. Yellow signal, yellow signal. We delete this line here. First warning, second warning that the market's topping. There's so much confluence. It's getting scary. And what I'm about to show you is even scarier because we're almost following to the exact week of last cycle and how it played out last cycle. And even the death cross that's about to happen looks very similar to what happened last cycle. So I think we're about to tank here, and I think it's going to be a lot worse than people are expecting. I think it's going to take the market by surprise, as it did the previous cycle, right? We came down over 50% in a few months. We came down over 50%. And the drop here was 25 to 30%, okay? And I don't think people are ready for that. So we're going to talk about that at the end of the video. So what did I notice? So you can see in the Discord, I posted here saying, I think we are here right now, okay? So I posted saying I think we're here. What's the price? The price at the time was $111,746. And I said, look at this wick where they just flushed the market, where they just scammed the market. Loads of traders got liquidated. 20 billion or so, maybe even much more, got liquidated. You know, so many people got wrecked. So many people exited the market and said, I'm done with this space. You know, I can't go on. Some people even took their lives. That's how sad it was, right? And I said at the time, this is going to cause so much PTSD. So many people have just lost millions and millions of dollars. Some people have lost their entire crypto. They're just going to come back next cycle. They're not going to go and plow their last bit of savings into the market. They're not going to put more money in. A lot of trust and faith would have been lost in that exact moment. Not that we needed that, because we're already coming to the end of the bull run anyway, right? Bitcoin was 16K. It's gone all the way up to 125K. I think we got Solana at $23. It was pushing $300. Everyone had made a lot of money who bought in the bear market, right? I know a lot of you who came in late, didn't make any money. Unfortunately, in this space, if you really want to make the gains, the bear market is the time to get in, right? So we came down, we spiked back up on this wick, and then I said we're going to come back down and we're going to start to retest this level. So I took a big short position here. I'm still in my big short BTC position, and I plan to hold it open deep into the bear market. People are laughing, but I'm probably going to hold it down to 70, 50K. I've already taken my initial out. I can't lose. It's a free lottery ticket now. If the market does pump and go to the upside, great. I've not lost anything, right? So I said we're here, and I said, look what happened last cycle. So this is the wick that I said it reminds me of the previous cycle. Not only that, the timing lines up as well. Look at the big pump we had into the wick, right? Look at the big pump we had into the wick, the final shakeout pump, the final short squeeze pump. It looks very, very similar to how last cycle played out with the final short squeeze pump into that wick. And then we had 4 weeks before we lost this weekly support and then broke to the downside, right? Now bear that in mind, because if we go here, this was at the time, right? So I said it would have been 4 weeks. Now if we go and look at where we are today, here's the first wick that I said from last cycle. So I said this wick here, 1, 2, 3, 4. Where are we today? Losing this support. You see the SMC moving average, and we've just had a sell signal flash up from the SMC bot, which confirms in 3 days and 9 hours, okay? So if we close below this resistance here in 3 days and 9 hours, we're pretty much following history. Not that we didn't need a roadmap anyway, because, we're clearly following history. If we break through this trend line, this is 4 pivot points, right? 1, 2, 3, and then the 4th, because we didn't put a bounce here, that have played out. We're literally just copying the roadmap from last cycle. And if we break below here, what happened on that 4th week? We tanked quite a lot. Okay, so we tanked as soon as we lost that weekly support, and we had the sell signal from the SMC bot. We tanked about 24-30%. Let me just draw that again. So from here down, it was 27%. Okay, so let's say history repeats. This is where I said not many people are expecting this. Let's say history repeats. We got so much confluence that the same things are happening over and over again. If history repeats and we drop 27%, that is going to bring us down to 74k. Who is expecting 74, 75k right now? Nobody, right? I see we might get a bounce at 100k. We might get a bounce at 92k, 94k. I've not heard anyone say 80k or even 70k or 75k or 82k, right? I've not heard those numbers get thrown around, and I am worried that that is potentially about to happen, okay? And I potentially think we're going to lose this level, and it's going to be the end of the bull run, and we're going to tank here. So that's if we repeat history. Now, it's quite an easy trade because we either bounce here or we don't, right? The longer we stay down here, the more likely it is that we're going to tank to the downside. Why? Because you should see a sharp V-shaped recovery, right? You should see an extremely sharp bounce here because Bitcoin is so cheap. It's 100k, right? Everyone buy. You should see an extreme bounce here. But the longer we chill and stay here, the less interest there is, and the more people are going to start to de-risk and start to sell. And then I think we're going to lose this trend line and break. So what happened after that? We then came back for a retest. Okay, so we can see that on the chart. You see here where we broke the white line, we came down 20-30%, then we went back for a retest. That's what I'm looking for. That's what I think is going to happen again. I know I drew this, right? I drew this kind of on a whim, but I was kind of expecting a retest of this white line. So you see we came back to the white line, and this is called returning to the scene of the crime. Now, it doesn't have to always happen, but it happens a lot. It does happen a lot. The price is down so much, people buy the dip, you come back, they think it's just a dip, and then it really rugs, right? So this is what I think is potentially going to happen over the next few weeks, is we lose this trend line. I don't know whether it's going to be this week. I don't know whether it's going to be next week. The data suggests that it's either going to be this weekend or next weekend. And then we come back up and we retest this trend line, and then it's the end of the market and we come into a long drawn out bear market, and that's where I'm looking to take profits on my short positions, and that's where I'm looking to buy the dip. Now, I don't know if we're actually going to come down to this support, but the data is going to tell me that, right? If we come down to this support here at 60, 70k, or even if we come down to 50k, Glassnode is going to tell me we've bottomed, Nansen's going to tell me we've bottomed. All of the indicators we use that have been phenomenal. If you watch the channel, I've talked about these quite a lot. A lot of the indicators we use have been phenomenal for time in the bottom, so I'm going to refer to my indicators. The technical data suggests that we are coming down here. Okay, the technical data suggests that we are coming down here, because if you look at the correction from last cycle, it was a 75% correction, and if we run this from the top, because I think we have topped, it brings us to a 75% correction. So we have more confluence here of repeating history. Not only are we following the last cycle to almost the exact T, almost to the week, right? The 4th week, we started to get this sell signal from the SMC bot, and it marked the top. Not only that, the 75% correction lines up with our bottom support. Now, there's a lot of reasons I could argue that I don't think we're going to hit that, and I could say, we have institutions here, we have treasuries, BlackRock, Fidelity, etc., etc. Now, don't get confused, guys. People are going to sell on the way down. ETFs are going to sell. The difference is some of the institutions are very DCA, especially the institutions who bought into the FOMO, into the ETF FOMO, because they get FOMO too. Especially when Larry Fink is saying that Bitcoin could go to 600k in the next, because he was saying that. He was saying Bitcoin, there's some nation states talking to me about Bitcoin, and if they buy, we could be at 400 or 500k. A lot of institutions didn't want to miss out, and they aped in at 80k, 90k, 100k, they might be 50% underwater in a few months, right? Even Tom Lee might be 50% underwater in a few months as Ethereum goes into a bear market. But they are likely to dollar cost average, especially those who have put their neck on the line like Tom Lee and made a big prediction. They don't want to be wrong. It's not a good look for their company. It's not a good look for them, and they will just dollar cost average into the bear market. But look who is selling. We're seeing digital asset treasuries already starting to sell, and a lot of them, some of them on leverage, might get into some trouble and might have to sell a lot of their Bitcoin. A lot of companies and institutions will panic, right? As the market, if the stock market crashes and crypto crashes, they'll de-risk, they'll take some off the table. Hey, we're a little bit over leveraged. We thought BTC was going to push to 250K. Standard Chartered kept saying that it's at least going to hit 250K. Cathie Wood is saying it's going to 500K, whatever. Tom Lee said it's going to, hit 200K. All of these people were predicting these very high targets, which we see every cycle, and that's why people hold and hold and hold. So I saw exactly the same thing last cycle. I saw people, predicting crazy price targets, and I started to take some profits off the table. People called me crazy. Same thing again this cycle. I'm the crazy one shorting here, and it's going higher, it's going much higher. The reason most people lose is because they just hold and hold to the ground, and down here, altcoins are down 95, 99%, right? So just remember that a lot of the people making predictions in this space said the same thing last cycle, and now we're hearing the same things. Who just bought this little dip here? Andrew Tate. I'm buying, I think he posted saying 50 Bitcoin at 100K when we have all the classic signs that the bull run is about to end. Who else just got in here? Grant Cardone buying more Bitcoin here. A lot of the newbies who came in, who have not been in the cycle very long, especially Grant only came in recently. And I think they're all going to be underwater at some point. I think they're going to be sitting at a loss, and we'll see. Time will tell, right? For me personally, the data is all lining up. Now, let's talk about the death cross, because that's another point of confluence that we have. Now, you see the 50-day moving average here coming down. 50-day moving average is coming down here, and the 200-day moving average, the green line here, is coming over like this. So let's imagine that these two are going to cross some point like this. This is called a death cross, right? And sometimes when you get these death crosses, the market, it marks something. Sometimes it can mark a move to the upside, sometimes it can mark a move to the downside. But in this specific case, we are in Q4, coming towards the end of the bull market. Historically, this is where the market has ended. We're coming into Q4. I know some people have been comparing the death cross and saying that it can be a bullish catalyst, but they have been looking at the death cross at the start of a bull run or halfway through a bull run. Okay. Now, of course, if you get a death cross here, who is going to sell on that death cross? Because you're at the start of the bull run. You're at the start of the bull run. You've just come out of a 12-month bear market. This is how the cycle ran the previous cycle, the cycle before that. So when you get a death cross here, of course, it might be a bullish catalyst because it doesn't really matter. There's a little bit of fear that goes around. Sometimes the market goes into fear as the cross approaches. No one is selling their Bitcoin at 20K when the target is 100, 150K, right? Everybody is diamond hand in holding. Traders are selling, trying to make a little bit of money here, but the holders who bought in the bear market are planning to take profits in the bull run, who are swing trading. We had another death cross somewhere around here. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You're way below the previous all-time high. You're halfway through the bull run. You've got Q4 coming up the next year. It doesn't matter. So in my opinion, we can't compare death crosses at the end of the market to the death crosses in the middle or at the start of the market, right? That's completely irrelevant, completely different situation. The only place we can compare death crosses is in Q4 if the death cross happened in Q4. If we want to compare death crosses at the start of the market, we can compare death crosses at the start of the market previously and how they reacted, right? So we can't look at Q4 death crosses and say, it could be a bullish catalyst. In my opinion, it can't be a bullish catalyst because you're at the end of the market, and the death cross at the end of the last cycle marked the start of a huge downtrend, right? So the death cross is about to happen here. It might be, where are we now? So we are coming up to Friday. So it might be coming up to next weekend. So not this weekend, but next weekend, maybe Friday or Thursday that we actually get that cross. So maybe a week from now that we actually get that death cross. So let's look at what happened last cycle when we had that death cross, right? So here is the death cross that we had last cycle. Now, how crazy is this? Q4, we had this pump. So you see this pump up to the SMC moving average. So the SMC bot gave us a sell signal on the BTC around 60k. We had the yellow topping candle up here. We had our final scam wick. So that's the scam wick that we talked about happening up here. This is the scam wick that what's his name, Nansen. Do you remember Nansen was getting really bearish down here, and we took long positions, and I was posting on Nansen's. I don't think he likes me much. I was posting on his X saying you're about to get wrecked, and he was so bearish. He was super bearish, and we had a scam pump to the upside. And then this is where we started to say, look, it's getting a bit frothy. I think we're going to dump. And then we had a yellow candle here saying that, we are going to dump. And I think this was the final scam wick. I mean, look how scammy it looks. We were supposed to tank here. So technically you could argue Nansen was possibly right, meant to be right. But then they scammed the market here. And I think this was the final shakeout. Very, very similar, right? So we had this final shakeout, scam wick here, final scam wick, broke down below the, we had the sell signal, right? We had the sell signal, tried to retest, couldn't get above, and then we tanked to the downside. But we had this retest of the SMC daily here, okay? So come down here, see the retest of the SMC daily here just before the death cross, right? So retest here, pump and dump. Death cross happened here. How later after the retest did that death cross happen? So 25th of December, Q4 into 14th of January, couple of weeks. Retest here, death cross here. It's almost too easy, right? It's almost too easy. It's almost like we're literally looking at history repeating over and over again. Death cross, scam wick. So where are we now if we're looking at last cycle? If we are here, after this scam wick, we had a few days as we approached the death cross, just before the death cross happened, we tanked bad to the downside, okay? So if history's repeating, we're coming up to the death cross, we're about to tank bad to the downside, if history's repeating, guys. So let's just draw this out. We've done something like this. And then we chopped here for a little bit. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days. And then we had a very, very big crash. Exactly 1, 2, 3, 4 days after the death cross happened, we had a huge crash to the downside. See this? Huge crash to the downside. So all in all, let's mark that out. All in all, let's do from the retest. Let's do the break of the retest. 25%. Okay, so the sort of targets that we looked at earlier. So let's draw that out again on here. So we came down, we went sideways for 5 days, and then we came down again. So we've done something like this, and then we came down very, very heavy again here, much further, which brings us to like 70 to 80k. That's if we repeat history. Now, look, let's play devil's advocate. Let's say we are going to bounce here. I want to see us move up fast. It's not healthy that we're sitting here just chilling. It's almost very bearish that we're just chilling here. If we do, we need to V-shape recovery, and we need to get above the 200-day moving average, right? We're below the 200-day moving average here. We're below the SMC daily. If we do move up here, there is no way for us to move out without the SMC bot giving us a buy signal. So for me, there's no point trying to hope. There's no point hoping that this time's different, hoping that we're going to push up to an all-time high. That's how most people lose in this space. I'm just going to stay short for now. If we close and we get a buy on the SMC daily, or we get above the 200-day moving average, so many resistances here to get above now. If we get above those levels, okay, I'll lean slightly bullish. Maybe I'll take a long position. Maybe I'll take some more profits from my short positions. I don't know. For now, there's way too much confluence for me that we are literally repeating the pattern that I drew out back in January, right? Support, top of the market, into bear market. I do think we are going to come back and retest this white line, though. The question is, what if we don't? It'd be very unusual just to endlessly cascade here. There should be a relief rally to the scene of the crime and repeat what happened here, especially as we're copying last cycle so closely. It would make sense that we copy this move here, right? The problem is, what if so many people now are watching this? What if people have seen my videos and they start to plan for this? Sometimes if everyone is expecting something to happen, it doesn't happen like that, right? Maybe that's why we have topped here. Everyone was expecting 250k, 150k. No one expected us to top and come down here, right? No one really expected us to top and come down. So there's still a lot of bulls. Everybody's still buying. Tom Lee's still buying the dip. There's still a lot of bulls. Everyone is in huge profits. So many people are in huge profits who have bought down here or who've bought down here. And Bitcoin is still over 100k, guys. You have to remember, right? I don't think many people have perspective. It was a dream to get to 100k. I remember I used to work at crypto exchange, and my manager, she took out a loan down here, a very big loan. And she inspired me to actually put more money back into the market, because I felt like an absolute wimp, because she put huge money in, and she was the manager at she was one of the managers at the cryptocurrency exchange, and she printed and she sold it all at 100k. It was a dream to hit 100k, right? I think she put hundreds of thousands in at 20k, so she made 5x. So she might have made over $1 million. And that's happy days in the bag, right? In the bag. Go and buy a property or something. She killed it, and I'm glad she inspired me to buy more and put more money into the market, because it changed my life. So shout out to you. I won't mention your name, but shout out to you. Yeah, a lot of people took profits at 100k, guys. It was a target for a lot of us. A lot of ETFs and stuff, don't forget, they got in at 50k. So even though like my manager made 5x there, they got in at like 50k, 60k. I ended up switching to leverage, so I sold my Bitcoin and I ended up just longing, which again changed my life, because I ended up nailing gold on that trade. I think I made a 10x or more than that on this long here on BTC. So yeah, it's been it has been a pretty straightforward cycle for BTC. It's been just crap for altcoins, right? It's been really hard to trade. I mean, we got in early to altcoins. We sold near the tops, but it's been very difficult. I've had to sit on chain, just analyzing every day, tracking people's wallets, waiting for the whales to sell. It's really been difficult, and I took some 50% losses on lots of altcoins here and there. It's not been easy, but for Bitcoin, it's been easy, right? Larry Fink has just said buy. It's been easy. ETFs have been buying. There's been a lot of euphoria. President Trump was literally saying it's going to replace gold, or it could replace gold. In terms of speculation, it's been the best cycle for speculation. You've had Trump and BlackRock pretty much holding your hand all the way to all-time high. I don't know if it's going to be that easy next cycle. I really don't know if it's going to be this easy next cycle for Bitcoin, because of the quantum resistant threat. A lot of the catalysts arrived. We didn't get a Bitcoin strategic reserve. We might have a left-leaning administration in next. There's loads of different... there's nowhere near as much hype and speculation approaching for next cycle as we've had this cycle. We even have JP Morgan's already said digital currencies are going nowhere, and countries have been buying Bitcoin. It's pretty much been ingrained into our financial infrastructure, which was the dream in the bear market. This was the dream. Everything that's happened is the dream. And the thing is, when you arrive at the dream and you reach all of those events, it often marks the top. Even though it feels like everything's here now, it should all get better, it often marks the top. This is what we were buying for down here. We were buying for these events. We got the ETF, brilliant. Donald Trump is going to be president. This is where I took the big BTC long, right? I made $250,000 on that speculation. And then we hit our top target. We hit the top of the market target. Is it the top? We'll see. Time will tell. I would say, considering the data now, 80%. 80-20. 20% we haven't topped, 80% we have topped. I like the 80% odds. That's why I'm going to hold my short positions open for now. Already taken a lot of profits off of them, so it's hard for me to lose. But I think we're about to tank, and I'm even going to give you weeks, guys. I think we're going to tank in the next 2 weeks. We're going to get this death cross, and I think we're going to tank in the next 2 weeks because that's what happened last cycle. Let's see if this sell signal from the SMC bot confirms in 3 days and 9 hours. If you want to get the SMC bot in your own Discord, if you want to join our group so you can see all my buy and sell alerts, we've got a massive group here. We've got professional leverage trader that we pay. You might have seen, actually, I posted the other day, the leverage trader, he has not lost a single month. We've made a killing on quantum. We buy stocks as well. He's not lost a single month. Look at his record. This is since I hired him in January. He's won every month. 100% win rate every single month. I've not seen anyone. And remember how hard it's been to trade this cycle. It's been really difficult to trade with all of these spikes and scam wicks, but he still ended up in profit even through all of that. So, it's not just me in there. We've got the pro trader. We've got a great community, always looking for new altcoins and new gems. We're tracking all the smart money on chain so we can see what all the smart money are doing in real time, all the transactions they're taking. We can see when they're selling altcoins, and a lot of them have been selling. I keep seeing so many people going into stable coins. You can see here, look, smart money received $14.6 million of USDC in the past 24 hours, 4.67 times the recent average. So we can still see smart money are selling even today and going into stable coins as opposed to buying this dip. And who do we see buying the dip? We see Andrew Tate, we see Grant Cardone, who are pretty much trading like retail, and we see the smart money selling and getting out of the market. Who are you going to bet on? Because I'm going to bet on the smart money. I'm not going to bet on Andrew Tate. I'm going to bet on the data, the technical data that we see repeating. And who can argue? I've been right so far, right? I said to long and buy here. Bitcoin is 77K. We're in extreme fear. Everyone was panicking, saying the market's over. We're going lower. And we were buying here. We were buying everyone's fear. Nvidia doubled in price here. Tesla pretty much doubled in price. So many stocks doubled in price. Solana doubled in price. We didn't have as great a rally on altcoins, but so many things doubled in price here. And then we pretty much rejected exactly from this yellow line, right? So who can argue with this so far? If we break this line, I've never seen this done before. I've never seen someone call out all of these exact moves and Bitcoin follow the price. So if you want to join us, you want to see my announcements and buy alerts, guys, I've just bought some more stocks this week. I'm not buying any crypto altcoins, but I just bought some more stock this week. So if you want to see the stocks I've bought, jump in the Discord. And you can leave at any time. It's a monthly subscription. So if it's not for you, and you join for a month, you can just leave, guys. You don't have to stay. So yeah, head over to my X if you want to join us. Click this link here. So search this name at the bottom, not the top one, the bottom one. Click this link here. That's going to take you to a page where you can join at the Discord, and then you get the SMC bot with these buy and sell signals yourself. The next bull run, I just hope to get this buy signal, which I think we will, right? I think I don't see any way how we don't get a buy signal from the SMC bot as long as we drop below this green line here. See the green moving average, which I think is pretty much coded. I don't think there's any way we don't drop below 70K, especially as this was the top, right? If this was the top, I don't see any way we don't drop below. And when we drop below, my indicators are going to tell me when it's bottomed. So if it hasn't bottomed here, I don't buy. If my indicators tell me to buy here, I buy here, right? So the indicators tell me where to buy. But if my indicators are wrong, the SMC bot is going to tell me there might be a problem with your indicators because we have a buy signal. And I just take that buy signal, okay? I mean, look, if I bought at 24K rather than 16K, it's not the end of the world, right? Because the price went to 125K. So I don't see any way how I miss the next bear market by using these tools. Because worst case scenario, my other 10 indicators don't tell me we've bottomed for the first time in history. They've nailed it every time. The SMC bot will tell me to buy here, and then I just buy back in here, right? that's what I plan to do. Not financial advice. Do your own research. Investing in crypto is highly risky. You can lose all of your money investing in anything. I'm not a financial advisor, so always do your own research, guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe on the YouTube channel because I'm going to keep you guys posted. Obviously, the data is always going to be in my Discord first. When I'm buying, when I'm selling is always going to be in the Discord first. As you guys know, we started shorting at 112 on BTC. When we saw this repeat of history happening, so it's always going to be there first if you want to jump in the Discord, but if not, I will always post useful information and stuff on YouTube. So subscribe, press the bell notification button so you don't miss out on any videos. That's it for now, guys. Until then, I'll catch you in the next one.